Andrew, bat lead off.
Hey, Coach, it's good to talk to you. I got to ask you sort of a lighthearted question with respect to the cheese in the locker room, in the players' lockers today. Have you ever been associated with a cheese type of thing with a ploy that a head coach made during the week to sort of get his team's focus?
I have not. This is my first time being associated with the cheese, but it's really good. Coach Brown, he talked to the staff about it yesterday, and I think it fits perfectly with us and where we are right now, where we just gotta show up every day and come to work and you can't eat the cheese.
The intent obviously is obvious what he's doing this week, given the opponent and some of their struggles, and also where you guys are at this point in the season. Have you seen the players kind of react maybe the way that Mac was hoping they would react to this kind of message?
Yes, they have. They've responded. They've responded well. Coach Brown talked to the team on yesterday, and he explained the cheese theory to them, and we came out to practice today. Guys were locked in, had a good practice. The energy was good, and so I think they're responding well. Now they completely understand.
All right, one football question, then I'll let everybody else ask all their questions. Marcus Allen, how have you seen his game grow since the start of the season, and how significantly high is his ceiling?
Marcus, he is my challenge to him each week is to get better, each week. And so that towards the end of the season, he's playing his best. He's a smart young man. He is physical. He understands he understands what we're doing defensively, and he puts his time in to understand the scheme. And I think he's starting to play with a lot of with more confidence, and you see it in practice, and you see him doing things in practice, and it's carrying over to the games. And I think he's so young, and as he continue to work, he's just going to get better and better.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Tommy?
Coach, a lot's been talked about the level of communication or the communication improvement this year. How much is that is on the players? Is it on, your new approach? Is it coaching, maturity? What's really improved that area, especially in the back end?
I think the biggest thing is with the communication. When we get to practice, we're constantly harping on it, and we're constantly talking to the guys and telling the guys that they must communicate. You must talk to the guy that's beside you to make sure everybody's on the same page, because all it takes in the back end is for one person to think, to be thinking one thing, and the other person can be thinking something else, and now we have an explosive play and we have a touchdown. But I think it starts in the meeting room as we watch film in the meeting room. We'll put the defensive call up there. We'll let the play run. Guys have to communicate in the meeting room, have to make the checks, they have to talk, and then we come to practice. They're expected to do the same thing. And if a guy doesn't talk, and if a guy doesn't make the check, then we sort of call out that guy. We get on to that guy. Hey man, you have to speak up. You have to communicate. So it's something that's being it's something that we're harping on, and we're emphasizing it in the meeting room and on the practice field, walkthroughs, and it's just carrying over.
Thanks, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremiah?
What's going on, Coach? Appreciate you talking with us this morning. I wanted to ask you about that star position. Obviously, when DeAndre Boykins went down, I know Hassi has been in there, and he's been in there all year. But how much did that kind of, change things up, when he went down, as far as, kind of the personnel you all were, planning to roll out there?
Yeah, one of the things that he's one of our starting corners, before Dre Boykins went down. But one of the things that we're always doing, Coach Warren and myself, we're always trying to cross train guys. So we're always every guy has a a primary position and he has a secondary position. And so Hassi was the guy, he was here going through spring ball, and then we saw, hey, he could be a really good corner. And then a couple practices, we may do pass scale, and we'll say, hey, let's take Hassi and let's put him in there at star. So we slowly started teaching it to him. And so he was the guy that we started cross training with at the start, just in case something would happen. Now, we didn't know Dre was going to go down, and those reps sort of paid off. But we're always looking to cross train guys. Sometimes we'll have a guy, he's playing, he could play star in one package and he could be a safety in another package, or he could be a safety in one package and he's like a backer in another package. So we're always trying to cross train guys to try to get the best 11 on the field. And that's one of the things that Coach Brown is always challenging the staff to do.
Yeah, for sure. And just real quick to go off of that, did Hassi kind of seem like a natural, fit there? Like when you were first starting to cross train him there at that star position, did it just kind of come naturally to him? How would you kind of evaluate his process in, kind of getting those reps at star?
Well, because when we watch the film, everything we do, so it starts with the star. So we'll put the film on and we'll say, hey, where's the star? We'll put the defensive call and we'll say, where's the star? And he would be the first one to say, hey, the star's to the right. So now the star be to the right. We'll make the defensive call to the right. And then we'll make the defensive call to the left. And we just noticed that he had an understanding of where the star was on every single play as we were watching film before we even got on the field and started like giving him reps on the field. So it started in the meeting room, and everybody in the corners room and in the safeties room, right? They have to understand where the star is, and they always make the star call. But he was the one that was speaking up and things like that. And we said, okay, let's put him out there at star and let's see. And we started stealing the reps at practice. And he hopped in there as just a natural fit, especially with the ball skills that he has. And nowadays, a lot of teams are putting like their best wide receiver in the slot, and he's a cover guy, so it's a good matchup for us.
I appreciate it. Thank you,
Michael.
Morning, Coach. With both Tayon and Marcus being so young at the cornerback position, have you found that you coming in as a first-year guy, they are more open to learning new ideas and techniques from you that they might not have seen before, as opposed to, for example, you coming in as a first-year coach and the starting corner being a fifth-year senior? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, being young, I think when you're dealing with young guys, the biggest thing with those guys is just having an understanding of what's going on, right? Just understanding what the defensive call, what they're asked to do in each defensive call, and then also allowing those guys to play and have confidence, because once they understand what's going on, then they're athletic enough to make some plays and things like that. I do encourage them to ask questions, because I tell them all the time, I don't know, I'm not playing, I'm not taking a snap. So I don't know what you know. So if you don't understand something, then ask. And both of them are pretty good about asking questions and things like that. But they've been great. If they don't understand something, they'll ask. As far as the techniques and things like that, a lot of it is just understanding, as they continue to play and as they get older, they just get and play more games, they gain more experience, and they just start understanding the techniques and when they're supposed to use each technique, and down and distance and situations in the game and things like that. So, but they've been really good, and anything I ask them to do, they do it. So, yeah, it's been great.
Appreciate it.
Adam.
Jason, good to see you again, man. Good to talk to you.
Yeah, how you doing?
Doing okay, hanging in. Wanted to ask you about Malik Washington at UVA, and just the challenge that you see there. He's off to a great start this season, and I guess the Miami wideouts that you just faced, the size of those dudes, stood out, and Syracuse too, I guess. Yeah, Syracuse had big wideouts too, but Malik is not. He seems to be a smaller package. So like, how would you rate what you've got to deal with against UVA and him?
Well, I tell you, he's a guy that you definitely have to know where he is when he's on the field. He's a guy where they're gonna move him all over the place. He'll be inside, he'll be the slot receiver. They'll line him up outside. Sometimes they'll start him outside, they'll motion him inside. They're always moving him around, trying to get the best matchup, trying to get him on I would imagine a backer or somebody like that, whatever matchup that they want. But in passing situations, everything goes through it. He's dynamic, he's shifty. He does a great job of catching the football, and once he catch it, if you come in and you're out of control and trying to make the tackle, he'll make you miss. Also, when you watch film, you see he's fast enough where at times they'll line up and he just on film he's run by DBs. So he's one of those guys that he's a good wide receiver, has a good catch radius, good short area quickness, and they're going to get him the ball, and we just got to do a great job of just trying to limit his touches.
Thanks, man.
Luciano.
Hey, Coach. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for your time. Were you surprised in any sense by how well Elijah Hassi has been playing and his transition to the Power 5 level, or were you expecting him to have such a big impact right away?
You can tell a lot. You can tell a lot in practice. And when I got here this spring and just watching him work out, and when we went through spring practice, the way he worked in practice and the amount of the detail that he put into his technique and the extra time he put into the film room, and you saw it carrying over. Practice 1, he's getting his hands on balls, he's making interceptions. But when we come back out, practice 2, he's doing the same thing. Practice 3, and he's lining up, and we have some good wide receivers, and he's lining up on all the wide receivers, and he's making these plays on the ball, going against different wide receivers, and the coverage is tight, and Drake's throwing the ball, and things like that, and that's when in practice he's like, man, he has a chance to be a good player, but he works every single day. I mean, he shows up to practice. He busts his tail. He works. He's detailed about the things that he does. He competes. And so that's why you see what you see on game day. He does it Monday through Friday at practice.
Awesome. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
David.
Coach, you have worked under some younger, hair on fire guys such as Lane Kiffin and Hugh Freeze. How might that compare and contrast to working under someone such as Mac, who has seen it all and done it all over his long career?
Yeah. One thing I told Coach Brown, he reminds me a lot of Gene Stallings. So I played my first year when I was at Alabama, played with Coach Stallings, and the way he goes about doing things, the way he handles the team, has a good pulse of the team, has a good feel for the team, a good feel for the players, great relationships with them. He knows when we need to push them a little bit. He knows when we need to sometimes pull back. Just the way he goes about just day to day, he's detailed. Like, we'll go to practice, like we had practice today, and we'll have a staff meeting, and he's making notes in practice. Hey, this person needs to do this position needs to do this, and just how detailed he is, and just holding everybody accountable, and to make sure we're all chasing greatness. He reminds me a lot of Gene Stallings.
Thank you.
Adam.
A great anecdote. What was Jason? What was his reaction to the Gene Stallings comparison?
he told me, well, he said as a good compliment. As a good compliment, and I think him and Coach Stallings have a good relationship with each other. They know each other, and but he does, and Coach Kitchens and I, Coach Kitchens is a couple years older than me, so he was with Coach Stallings for a couple years, and he and I sit there and we talk about it all the time. It's like, man, the way he does things is it reminds us both of Coach Stallings, and so yeah, it does.
Very cool. I was going to ask, when you got hired here and you got in this winter, and you're sort of getting organized, and you're talking to Charlton, you're talking to Gene, just about where you guys need to go with this thing. Like, what were the things that they outlined to you that most needed to get better, like with the DBs? Like, what was sort of on the list, and how do you think you guys have gone about addressing that?
Yeah. The first thing we did, we sat down and we started watching all of the we call it the self scout. So it's all of the games from the past season, from the previous season. So we started watching those, and the biggest thing we talked about is, of course, you have to be great tacklers on the perimeter, right? A lot of times, wide outs are gonna crack a safety, crack a linebacker, try to make the corner come up and tackle a running back. So we got to do a great job coming up and tackling running backs, but at the same time, when they throw the football, we got to do a great job of getting our eyes around and trying to make a play on the ball and not panic and get the pass interference calls and things like that. Yeah, and you may get PIs from time to time, but you got to be minimal. You got to limit those. And we also talked about just playing tight coverage, just making the quarterback throw the ball into a tight window, because we knew like our D-line, if our D-line had time, and with our linebackers, if we wanted to pressure the quarterback, and if we could play tight coverage in the back end and make the quarterback hold the ball a little bit longer, then we could get to the quarterback and affect the throws. Maybe make the quarterback throw the ball as he's off his back foot, or possibly get some sacks. So those were the three biggest things that we talked about. And then when we rolled into spring ball, right, that was the emphasis in spring ball, and it carried on through the summer and fall camp. And we still talk about it to this day. Just tight coverage. And like sometimes when the quarterback throws the ball, we'll pause the tape. Hey, where's the DB? Where's the DB? Hey, man, you could be tighter. Make him hold it. When we're one step away from boom, being in the quarterback's face. So those were the three main things that we talked about. And every day we're just harping on it, and we're just trying to get better. We're not where we want to be. Every day we're just trying to get better and better.
Appreciate it, man. Good talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Anything else for Coach? Awesome. Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thank you.